women often don't realize what they had until it's gone. The moment you pull away, everything changes. Suddenly she's thinking about you non-stop, questioning everything, and wondering if she made the biggest mistake of her life. But why does this happen? More importantly, how can you use this to your advantage? Stay locked in, because by the end of this video, you'll understand exactly why your absence is more powerful than your presence. 1. The initial relief. But it's not what it seems. At first, she might feel relief. She may have expected you to chase her, to try and win her back. Maybe she even convinced herself that she needed space, but deep down, she secretly assumed you'd wait for her. And when you don't reach out, when you don't try to fix things, she assumes she's won. She tells herself, he must be struggling without me. He's probably just waiting for the right moment to reach out. He'll cave soon. For a while, she feels powerful. She's scrolling through social media, hanging out with friends, acting as if nothing has changed. But something doesn't feel quite right. The silence she expected to enjoy feels different than she imagined. At first, it's subtle. She checks her phone, expecting your usual good morning text, but it's not there. She gets into bed, anticipating a missed call from you, but her screen remains empty. She hears a song that reminds her of you, and suddenly the first hint of doubt creeps in. At this point, she tells herself it's nothing. He'll text soon. He always does. But as the days go by, with each passing day, the silence doesn't feel like relief anymore. It starts to feel like loss. 2. The power shift begins. Her control starts slipping. When a woman thinks she has you secured, she stops questioning your presence. She assumes you'll always be there, waiting and available, whenever she decides to return. But now something's different. You're not reaching out. You're not chasing. You're not playing the role she expected you to play. At first, she dismisses it. He's just waiting for me to come back. But then, doubt creeps in. She checks her phone more often than usual. She reopens your old messages, reading through them. She hovers over your name, tempted to send a text, but then she stops herself. Why should I text him first? So she waits. But the silence lasts longer than she expected, and here's the key difference. For the first time, she is the one thinking about you more than you're thinking about her. And that's where everything changes, because now you're no longer just a guy she knew. You're no longer just an option. You're a mystery, and mystery is what creates attraction. 3. The emotional roller coaster, denial, frustration, and confusion. Here's something most men don't realize. Women don't process loss immediately. Unlike men who tend to feel the impact of a breakup right away, women feel it over time. At first, she might have even felt relieved that you were gone. But now, she's starting to question everything. She tells herself, you're just playing a game. She convinces herself that you're still thinking about her every day. He's just being stubborn. He'll reach out eventually. He always does. But as more time passes, she starts noticing something she didn't expect. She's the one thinking about you more than before. And that's when frustration kicks in. She starts posting cryptic stories on Instagram. She acts like she's having the time of her life. She mentions you to mutual friends, hoping to get a reaction. But when she doesn't hear from you, her frustration turns into confusion. Why hasn't he texted me? Why is he not reacting? Did he actually move on? And that question alone is enough to create something she never expected: regret. 4. The unexpected realization. She starts to feel the loss for real. You see, when a woman takes you for granted, She never fully appreciates your presence. Why? Because you were always there. She never had to work for your attention. She never had to wonder how you felt. She never had to experience what life was like without you. But now, she's seeing the difference. She picks up her phone, expecting to see your name, but it's not there. She watches a movie you both enjoyed, and for the first time, it doesn't feel the same. She meets other guys, but none of them make her feel the way you did, and suddenly she realizes what she lost. But here's the part most men never understand. This realization doesn't make her happy, it makes her anxious, because now she's the one feeling uncertainty, and uncertainty is what drives people to take action. 5. The moment she breaks and tries to reconnect. At this point, she can't ignore the feeling anymore, and that's when she does something she never expected herself to do. She reaches out. At first it's small. Maybe she likes an old picture of yours. Maybe she randomly reacts to your story. Or maybe she sends a funny meme just to see if you'll respond. But make no mistake, she's testing the waters. She wants to know if she still has power over you. And here's where most men fail. They respond too quickly. The moment you do, she gets exactly what she wanted. She no longer has to miss you. She no longer has to wonder about you. She no longer feels like she lost you. And just like that, you're back where you started. 6. The emotional floodgate opens. She starts feeling the loss for real. This is where everything shifts. At first, she convinced herself that she was fine without you. She told herself, I don't care, he'll be back. But the days keep passing, and nothing happens. Now she's staring at her phone, waiting for your name to pop up. She's checking your online status, but refusing to text first. She's scrolling through your old conversations, reliving memories, and this is the moment it truly hits her. Because now she's not just missing your presence, she's missing the security you gave her. That constant reassurance that you were always there. The good morning texts, the last minute, how was your day? Messages, the little inside jokes that only the two of you understood. And now, they're gone. For the first time, she feels disconnected from you. And this is the exact moment she starts regretting taking you for granted. But she's not ready to admit it yet. So instead, she fights it. She distracts herself. But deep inside, that sinking feeling, it's getting stronger. I've made sure to keep the emotional depth intact while tightening up the structure and flow. Let me know if you'd like any further revisions. 7. The battle between pride and emotion. She's struggling, but she won't show it yet. Now she's caught in a battle between her emotions and her pride. Her emotions are screaming at her. You miss him, just reach out. What if he moves on? What if you never talk again? But her pride, that's an entirely different story. Her pride hates the idea of looking weak. Her pride tells her that you should be the one chasing. Her pride forces her to act like everything is fine. So what does she do? She starts testing you. She'll suddenly view your stories like an old post, or accidentally show up where she knows you'll be, all while pretending it's just a coincidence. But let's be real. She's waiting for a reaction. And here's where most men ruin everything. They see these little tests and fall for them. They text her first, start engaging with her posts, give her the validation she secretly craves. And the second they do, she wins. She regains control. She stops missing you. She goes back to her old ways. And just like that, the power shifts right back to her. This is why staying silent is so powerful. Because the longer you hold your ground, the more pressure builds on her side. And once her pride can't handle it anymore, that's when everything truly changes. 8. The breaking point. She can't hold back anymore. Now she needs to know. Every woman has a breaking point. It's that moment when she realizes something terrifying. Wait, what if he's really over me? And this drives her insane. Now she's losing control of the situation. She starts overanalyzing everything. Did he find someone else? Was I ever that important to him? What if I was just a phase? And this destroys her ego. Before she was comfortable. She thought she had you wrapped around her finger. She thought she could take her time, keep you as an option. But now, she doesn't know anymore. And that uncertainty, that's what pushes her to act. Suddenly she's the one waiting for your texts. She's the one checking your profile. She's the one feeling ignored. And the second a woman starts feeling ignored, she desperately needs your attention again. And now, she's finally ready to do what she swore she wouldn't. She's ready to make a move. 9. The reach out. She tries to pull you back in. This is where the real test begins. After days, maybe even weeks of holding back, she finally cracks. She sends that first message, and trust me, it's never straightforward. She won't just say, "I miss you." She won't admit, "I was wrong." Instead, she'll be subtle. She'll use a random excuse to start a conversation. "Hey, did you ever get that thing we talked about? I just saw something that reminded me of you. Hope you're doing okay." Why? Because she's testing you. She wants to see if you'll jump at the opportunity, or if you'll stay calm and composed. And here's where most men make their biggest mistake. They respond too eagerly. They start over-explaining themselves. They act like they were just waiting for her message. And just like that, the chase is over. Her curiosity disappears. Her ego is restored. And she stops missing you all over again. So what do you do instead? You keep it cool. You reply slowly. You stay neutral. You don't overinvest. 10. She actually wants you back. She wants to know if she still has a chance. She wants to feel that connection again. She wants to believe that you're still emotionally available. But here's the secret. You can't just go back to how things were. Because if you do, you risk falling right back into the same pattern. Instead, you let her do the chasing. She texts first and you take your time to reply. She wants to meet up. You're suddenly busy. She asks if you're seeing someone. You stay mysterious. The more uncertainty you create, the stronger her feelings grow. And the more she chases you, the more power you have. Because now, she's not just missing you. She's afraid of losing you forever. 11. The power of absence. She starts romanticizing you again. The longer you remain silent, the more powerful your absence becomes in her mind. At first, she was confident. She thought she had all the time in the world to figure out what she wanted. But now she's replaying every single moment in her head, romanticizing the way you treated her. Your kindness, now it feels rare. Your attention, now it feels like a privilege, something she took for granted. Your presence, now it feels like a void that no one else can fill. Why? Because humans always crave what they no longer have. And right now, she no longer has you. This is when the mind tricks start kicking in. She starts rewriting history. Suddenly the fights don't seem as bad. The problems don't feel as serious. The reasons she pushed you away now seem small and insignificant. She starts believing that maybe, just maybe, she made a mistake. And when a woman starts questioning herself, that's when she becomes vulnerable. And that vulnerability, that's what leads her to act on emotion, not logic. She needs to find a way to pull you back in. 12. The unexpected. Jealousy. She wonders if she lost you to someone else. The most powerful trigger for a woman's emotions. Jealousy. And right now, that thought is haunting her. What if he moved on? What if someone else is making him happier than I did? What if I was just a phase in his life? That thought, it burns inside her. Because when a woman realizes she's replaceable, it hits her hard. At first, she denies it. She convinces herself that you're still available, that she could get you back whenever she wants. But then, she sees something. Maybe you posted a picture, looking happier than ever. Maybe you liked a comment from another woman. Maybe a mutual friend mentioned your name, and you seemed completely unbothered. And suddenly, that illusion of control she had, it shatters. Now she's not just missing you. She's feeling the fear of replacement. And that fear, that's what pushes her over the edge. She now desperately needs to know where you stand. But the moment she reaches out, she's already lost the upper hand. 13. The accidental encounter. She tries to make you notice her. Again, by now, she's tried everything to get your attention. She's viewed your stories. She's liked your posts. She's even sent those little bait texts to see if you'd respond. But nothing worked. So now she takes it a step further. She starts putting herself in places where she knows you'll be. She suddenly goes to the gym at the same time as you. She shows up at social events where she thinks you'll be. She posts indirect messages that are clearly meant for you to see. And the moment you notice her, she acts completely casual, like she's unbothered, like she wasn't thinking about you at all. But the truth? She's been obsessing over how to get your attention for weeks. Now that she's in front of you, she's waiting to see if you'll take the bait. And most men, they fall for it. They engage. They start small talk. They give her the reaction she craves. And the second they do, she feels back in control. But if you stay composed, if you act like she's just another person in the room, that's when her ego takes the biggest hit. And that's when she starts feeling the consequences of her choices. 14. The emotional outburst. She can't hold it in anymore. There's only so much suppression a person can take before they break. And for her, this is when it happens. After weeks of silence, doubt, and emotional turmoil, she loses it. It might be subtle, like her sending a longer, more emotional message. Or it might be more intense, like her calling you out of nowhere, bringing up old feelings, or even crying. Either way, she's at a point where she can't pretend anymore. Her mind is screaming for closure. She wants to know, do you still care? Are you really done with me? Was I not enough? And here's where most men make their biggest mistake. They see this emotional outburst and assume it's about love. They think, if she's this emotional, she must still care. But don't be fooled. This isn't about love. This is about control. She hates losing. She hates uncertainty. She hates not knowing where she stands. And right now, you're the only one who can give her that answer. So, what do? Stay calm. Don't react emotionally. Because the second you match her energy, you fall right back into her trap. If this video gave you clarity, you're going to love the one on your screen right now. It dives even deeper into the psychology of attraction. Don't miss it. Hit that like button drop a comment, and subscribe for more. See you in the next one.